Hi, my name is Megan Volpert, coming to you live from inside my house in my pajamas for this book launch party of 2 special guests to be named later. The book is Closet Cases, Queers on What We Wear. And I'm really excited to be launching a book in my pajamas. I'm not sure I'll ever have another opportunity to do that again. I especially wanted to launch it in my pajamas because I think that with a book about fashion, if that's what this book is about, people are intimidated. People think, oh my God, I'm not fashionable enough to be reading this book. Or I don't think enough about fashion in my daily life to participate in the notion of closet cases and the conversation of closet cases. So instead of wearing my fancy pants, I wore my PJ pants for you. And the reason I did that was because this book is not about high fashion. It's not about runways and couture, although there are definitely people who contributed to the book that participate in those activities and enjoy them. It's actually more about the way we flip through magazines, and it's about the way we scroll through Instagram, and it's about regular people who like jeans and who wear pajamas and who have to think about what to put on for work every day. It's about all the ways that we dress. We, meaning queer people, meaning L and G and B and T and I and Q and A type people, plus all other types of people who are invested in the queer community. So I just wanted to share with you, like the first 10 pages. And I thought that there's no better place on earth to show you the first 10 pages than inside the closet that inspired it all. That closet belongs to my beautiful wife, Mindy Dawn, who many of you in the interwebs know as Dapper Mindy. Mindy and I have been married for almost 15 years now. And one of the joys that she brings to my life as a cartoon princess, she's the cartoon princess. I'm just the Warhol that pays attention to what it is that she does. One of the joys that Mindy brings to my life is her insane wardrobe. My wife is a power clasher. A lot of people don't understand her, and she thinks of breaking through their lack of understanding as a type of visual activism. And she doesn't do it, by running her mouth about things that she cares about. She does it just by thinking deliberately about what she's going to put on every day. And after watching my wife put on a show for everybody who has to see her face at work and at home and on the weekends, wherever we go, I thought, let me bring the spirit of that to closet cases. Queers wear lots of stuff. And most of the time when we decide what to wear, it's based at least partly on what messages we want to send out to the world, as well as what makes us feel comfortable and safe and seen. And so I just got to give it up to my wife, who is finally a published author. Why? Because I put her selection about bow ties in this anthology for you. There are 75 contributors to the anthology, including me and Dapper Mindy. And so I thought I would just give you a peek at the first 10 pages so you can think about whether you would like to pony up to hear all 75 voices. And you should, I promise you. We are diverse and interesting and interested in the world around us, and not just in the clothes we wear and the style that we use to provoke conversation in the world, but we're interested in a lot of stuff. We're interested in education, and we're interested in musicianship. And I don't know, the book is strange and beautiful, and I hope you like what you see. So if you will come down the hallway with me, we can get a look inside Mindy's closet, and we can take a look at the first 10 pages of the anthology. Come on! Are you with me? Yes, we do have a red carpet in our house. It is not for show, it is for life. Are you ready for this? Ladies and gentlemen, Dapper Mindy's closet. Ta-da! Pan around, show the people what you got, honey. That's Mindy behind the camera right now, by the way. Okay, so it's time to take a look at the book. Of course we keep one in Mindy's closet. In fact, we keep it in the spot where the cover photo was taken. So, into the shoes, up by the Gucci platforms. Ta-da! Isn't she beautiful? Now, let's have a seat and I'll read you the first 10 pages. Let's take a look. Summer Outing by Erin Young. My mom told me to wear more pink, more jewelry, Jean, to pray more to Jesus. More. So I sent her this photo. Red, 3:16 p.m. Red yesterday, 3:16 p.m. Red, 7/4/18, 3:16 p.m. Pink, gin, Jesus, gender. I am more of everything and enough for me. A Brief History of My Underwear by Gerard Wozek. My mother believed in the power of bleach. For all the years I was growing up, she was keen on meticulously separating the whites from the colored clothing and soaking the cotton undershirts and underwear in a lukewarm mixture of borax and baking soda. Her constant search for store-bought whitening elements, from blue Borateam to double-action Biz, made her a sort of alchemist, a mad scientist, searching to make every undergarment as sanitized and blanched as possible. But it was her relentless devotion to having her son wear the whitest boy briefs that drove me to a kind of emotional trauma. If you should get into an accident one day and they have to take you to the hospital, she would warn me, I want to make sure you have the cleanest, whitest briefs on when they begin to undress you. Terrified that I would one day soil my undergarments, I took great pains to make sure I was always wearing clean undies. The tighty-whities, as my brother referred to them, had to be spotless in both the crotch and seat, and heaven forbid, absent any signs of faded, graying, or dullness. Every holiday, from birthday to Christmas, it was always the same, an economy selection of 6 Fruit of the Loom traditional boy briefs, neatly gift-wrapped and offered to me with the same superior-sounding adage, "You can never have too many whiteys, right?" I tried to answer my mother with a smile as I secretly lusted for tropical print Hawaiian bikini-style shorts, or neon orange and yellow thigh-rise briefs, or multicolored striped boxers, or low-risers with a brightly embroidered monogram. Later on, in my junior year of high school, I dreamt of soft California madras against my loins, or hand-sewn undershorts made of genuine India silk. Anything but the ordinary bleached white briefs I felt relegated to wear. At 17, my attention shifted to men's underwear ads for release. I'd imagined myself playful with the athletic models sitting out poolside on lounge chairs who just happened to be wearing tight-fitted, shape-showing green paisley boxers, or laughing with the underdressed guys at the basketball court who fit snugly into their animal print high-rise jockeys and tartan-plaid, bulge-enhancing pouchies. After a rebellious short period of going commando, I wound up leaving home at 18 and embracing my own queer-identified obsession with men's underwear, everything from pink satin jock cups to leather and lace, sissy pouch panties. I'd laugh back then, imagining the paramedic who would treat a proud gay man wearing see-through purple mesh bikinis. Now, in my midlife, I have become, again, more conservative in my undergarments. Gone are the wilder days of sheer G-strings and slinky thongs or gay boy branded undies like Joe Snyder or Hom. Instead, I've returned to a simple, retro, low-waisted brief. Colors, though, stay in. No one will ever find bleach in my laundry basket. I prefer to wear the rainbow. Bind by Lucas Wildner. This started because I didn't want the hall monitors to ask me for my pass again. An incident after filling out paperwork that triggered imposter syndrome about my first school year. Until the final traces of boyhood burned away, leaving a white-collar professional in his wake, I would wear a tie to school every day. The effects were widespread. I earned sirs in the cereal aisle after work and polite handshakes from parents at conferences. Was I attempting to pass as straight? I took advantage of a legible masculinity. Once, students played matchmaker, discussing which of the 3 single women in the faculty I would be most compatible with. Success! Yes, I hated myself. Worse, I feared being fired if I came out, and internalized homophobia that equated gays with pedophiles. In class, we'd discuss how a speaker needed to set up a persona to engage their audience, to share belief in common values. I had reached for easy symbolism, a heteropatriarchal costume. Anyone could walk in and find the teacher in seconds. A baby gay, I hadn't yet examined why I felt normative masculinity was the prerequisite for respectability, for good teaching. Mr. Wildner was straight, cis, white, safe. Thankfully, the internet broke him. My poems, often glittery, began to float up to the surface whenever bored students typed in my name. A few reached out in appreciation. The haters, fearing an F or whatever other ludicrous punishment I would mete out, stayed quiet, or complained to administration, who did not bother to pass along their concerns. I got lucky. In year 3, I gave myself permission to buy a gay tie. Cream with a hot pink unicorn. Not the subtlest choice, but liberation fills self-loathing's vacuum. It was a step toward queering my understanding of tricky pedagogical concepts. What allows different students to trust and respect a teacher? What ideas about adulthood/masculinity/sexuality was I modeling? A master's tool with a half Windsor knot is still a master's tool. These days, in my Magneto was right era, I wish I had bought a dress. My Gender Is by Max Voltage. Matching nail polish and bow tie. Power tool for jewelry making. Boy band choreography at sunset, turquoise glitter eyebrows, pinstripes and floral print, suit vest under denim vest, single earring on, whichever side is the gayest, suspenders worn like a harness, ferns and passion flowers, fey time traveler, daddy in a skirt, trinity knot and other fancy twists, gold sequined, high-waisted shorts with a bulge, plaid on plaid on plaid, backpack and newsies cap, being mistaken for a 16-year-old boy by the small-town librarian, houndstooth pants and purple hiking boots, electric violin curled against my shoulder, dyke, faggot, genderqueer, stripy fingerless gloves, flannel giraffe sheets, banjo lele strung on a rainbow, spaceships and dinosaurs, 90s Nickelodeon sweatpants, tie clips and red slips, flagging with fruit fabric to an interview for a fruit tree pruning company, magenta wool fedora, cocky and cocked, dapper dandy, nonprofit professional, magical changeling, lightning bolts and boner jokes, writing a sci-fi musical about unicorns and capitalism, well-earned silver glitter in hair flip and tails, playroom of costumes and mirrors, selfies for days, coveralls on the weekends, summer of mesh, flogography and flowcharts, infinity scarf made of recycled sweaters, sandcastles decorated with wood, stone, shell, and feathers, eyeliner and glitter beads, aqualine suit from a production of The Music Man, dandelion, growing out of gravel. Watchdog by me, Megan Volpert. Time is against us, is how most queers feel. We're always waiting for the other shoe. Even watching a polite and tidy sitcom like Will and Grace, I catch myself thinking Jack's gonna get the shit beat out of him any day now. Or AIDS, or jail, or homelessness. I have 2 openly queer friends who work in high schools like I do. They both retired this year. The way we counted those days down, you'd think we were in NYC for NYE 1999. If you're queer and you finish out your career by natural means instead of getting fired, that's living the dream. The Timex Weekender is a cheap dial that makes a big sound. Tick, tick, tick. All the time. Time was coming hard for me, and I started running. Worked faster, thought faster, stopped for no one. Accomplishments as far as the eye could see. This $10 watch ran me, and I couldn't stand it. And I gave the watch away a few days after I put it on, by which time it had aged me several months. A lot of other things happened over many more moons, and I survived them all. The person I am now meditates about 20 minutes a day, every day, tapping the ancestors. You know what they say? Tick, tick, tick. How precious it is to finally respect a few of one's elders. How invigorating to have lasted 1 more minute in this queer body in this strange life. How brave to simply keep showing up, and how aggravating for the other bastards that one's accomplishments keep aggregating. Also accumulating are a diverse bunch of watch bands, because I ponied up another $10 to reclaim my Timex. The person I am now happily straps on this constant reminder to hold steady. Sometimes, in a contentious meeting, my admin will sit back in his chair and I can almost see him calculating whether this is the hill I die on. It never has been, so far. And while he's thinking about it, in the hostile silence of the conference room, I'm telegraphing him that queer agenda. Tick, tick, tick. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that is the first 10 pages of Closet Cases. But wait! There's more. I have a special guest for you. It is the only other person in my house. She just happens to be the contributor of page 106 and 107. My gorgeous, beautiful, fantastic, inspirational wife, known better to you as Dapper Mindy.
I'm excited today to share with you my piece in Closet Cases and to talk a little bit about what this book means to me. Being there from the ideation that Megan had around this book, I was so excited about it. The opportunity for queers across the spectrum to be able to speak their truths and, talk about binding and talk about time, talk about accessories and pieces of clothing that oppressed them or liberated them. It's really a very powerful concept, and to look at this book now that it's finally in my hands and to really read through and flip through and see these beautiful faces in this amazing chorus. It's truly a beautiful, beautiful piece. And also even just aesthetically, like this is just like the gayest, coolest book ever. So without further ado, I'd like to read to you the piece that I wrote, and I think you'll be very shocked to know what is an accessory or a piece of clothing that I felt compelled to write about.
The art of the bow tie. I used to wear pre-tied bow ties. I admit it. They're easy and flawless every time. When friends started commenting on my impeccable knotting, I had to either admit the truth or divert the conversation. Authenticity demanded I learn how to, quote unquote, master the self-tie bow tie. Bow ties are the cape, the shield, the removed Clark Kent glasses of my visual activism superhero identity. They carry an air of intellectualism, formality, nerdiness, and style acumen. Wearing a bow tie can be perceived as an aggressive lack of concern for what other people think. A woman in a bow tie subverts gender paradigms of fashion even further. I remember the awe I felt the first time I saw an image of Marlene Dietrich in a bow tie and top hat. The quote below her said, "I dress for myself, not for the image, not for the public, not for the fashion, not for the men. I am no Marlene Dietrich. While I dress for myself, first and foremost, I do dress for the image, the public, and to be visible. My bow ties offer a symbolic optimism that frequently provoke dialogue and connections with others, driving visibility, awareness, and social change. After significant practice and frustration, I've achieved mastery of the art. No need for a mirror. I take pride in teaching and inspiring others. Personally, I prefer an imperfect knot, mostly as evidence that it was self-tied. It also tends to engage an occasional observer to kindly point out the imperfection, and when appropriate, offer to adjust it. It's not about being brave. It's about being myself. It's about breaking arbitrary rules to make it easier for those who come after, so that they can fully realize their own identity, voice, and style.
Okay, so this concludes episode 1 of Book Launches During a Pandemic. I hope you enjoyed the show. And please buy a copy. Take a look at all the conversation that we have available to you. It is diverse and interesting and weird and full of personality. And in some ways, it's like flipping through the pages of your high school yearbook. In other ways, it's like watching HGTV. In other ways, it is almost as good as meeting these people in person, which you can do on our fully rescheduled summer and fall book tour. We will see you in Chicago, We'll see you in New York for Fashion Week, no less. We will see you in Philly and Atlanta and Little Rock and Los Angeles and Minneapolis. We will see you everywhere, in the Midwest, in the South, in the North, in the West. And we're just really looking forward to having a conversation, because do you know what? While you're stuck in your house, I want you to be thinking about this. Closets are for clothes, right? So this book is for queers everywhere, and that is more than enough about me and my wife. What about you? What's in your closet?